Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovitam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadanti Yam Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupa Sagrajata Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are welcome to today's section. Thank you yesterday for your wonderful presentation. And like I said yesterday, we're still going to go through the purport today together. We're going to do that together. And also trying to make some references from Srila Bhakti based on the purport of Prabhupada also. Okay, so I will quickly share so that we can read together. Please take turn to read paragraph by paragraph, then we can explain as we read. Atyara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha loyamscha sadi bhakti vinashati. So translation, once devotional service is spoiled when it becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. Eating more than necessary, or collecting more fund than required. Over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Talking unnecessary about mundane subject matters. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of scriptural advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scripture and working independently or whimsically. Associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness and being greedy for mundane achievement. So please, I want devotee to read, someone to read let us start with the purport, the beginning.
Human life is meant for plain being and high thinking, since all conditionally living beings are under the control of the Lord Earth's energy. This material world is designed so that one is obligated to work. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has 3 primary energies or potencies. The first is called the Antaranga Sakti, or the internal potency. The second
Antaranga. Antaranga Shakti.
Okay, perfect. Antaranga Sakti, or the internal potency. The second is called
Tatastha
Sakti, or the marginal potency. The third is called the
Bahiranga Shakti.
Baringa Sakti.
Bahiranga Shakti.
Bahiranga Sakti, or the internal potency, external potency. The living entities constitute the marginal potency, and they are situated between the internal and external potencies, being subordinate as internal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Jivatmas or atomic living entities must remain under the control of either the internal or external potency. When they are under the control of the internal potency, they display their natural constitutional activity, namely constant engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. This is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9.13.
Mahatmana sukma partam devi prakritim ashritaha. Vajanti anaya manaso jigyatam bhutadim avyayam.
All right, Prabhu.
Continue.
Okay. O son of Pertha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the supreme personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. The word Mahatma refers to those who are broad-minded, not triple-minded persons, always engaged in satisfying their senses, sometimes expand their activities in order to do good for others. Through some ends like nationalism, humanitarianism, or altruism, they may reject personal sense gratification. Their family, community, or society, either national or international. Actually, all these activities are extended sense gratification from personal to communal to social sense gratification. This activity may all be very good from material point of view, but they have no spiritual value. The basis of such activities in sense gratification, either personal or extended. Only when a person gratifies the senses of the Supreme Lord can he be called Mahatma or a broad-minded person. In the above quote verse from Bhagavad Gita, the word Daigam Praktim refers to the control of the internal potency or pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Continue, Prabhuji.
Yeah, continue.
This pleasure potency is manifested as Srimati Radharani or her expansion Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. When the individual jiva souls are under the control of the internal energy, their only engagement is the satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. This is the position of Mahatma. If one is not a Mahatma, he is Duratma or a cripple-minded person. Such means totally crippled. Duratmas are put under the control of the Lord external potency. Mahamaya, indeed all living entities within this material world are under the control of Mahamaya. Both business is subject then to the influence of threefold measures. Adibika suffering caused by the demigods as through the droughts, earthquakes,
and storms.
Adibautica Klisa, suffering caused by other living entities like insects or enemies, and Anjamika Klisa, suffering caused by the own body and mind, such as physical, mental infirmities, Daiba, Botama, Hitabaha, the conditions, the external energy suffer various difficulties. The main problem confronting the condition souls is the repetition of birth, old age, disease, and death. And death. In the material world, one has to work for maintenance of the body and soul. But how can I perform such work that is favorable for the execution of Krishna consciousness? Everyone requires positions such as food, greens, clothing, money, and other things necessary for the maintenance of the body. But one should not collect more than necessary for his actual needs. If this natural principle is followed, there will be no difficulty in maintaining the body. According to nature's arrangement, living entities lower on the evolutionary scale do not eat or collect more than necessary. Consequently, in the animal kingdom, there is generally no economic problem or scarcity of, of necessities. If a bag of rice is placed in a public place, birds will come to eat a few grains and go away. A man being, however, will take away the whole bag. He will ail all his stomach and hold and then try to keep the rest in storage. According to scriptures, this collecting of more than necessary at Yahara is prohibited now in the entire world. Is suffering because of it.
Thank you very much. Let's stop here. Okay, I want us to read up to that level before we stop. Thank you. So just to give you a helicopter view of the what we have read so far. So Prabhupada did not start from explaining what is mentioned in the verse. He started by introducing us why we are doing what we are doing. Prabhupada started by saying, human life is meant for simple living and high thinking, or plain living or high thinking. That's how Prabhupada started the purport. Means that there is no need for tiaras or prayasa, because if you understand this principle of simple living, high thinking, then we will not get ourselves so much engulfed in a tiara or prayasas. And it goes further, explaining the different energies of the Lord. Who can remind us these different energies without looking at the book?
Which one?
Internal energy, external energy, and marginal energy.
And then there are three energies.
Yeah, three. External energy, internal energy, and marginal energy.
Thank you very much. Yes. So it's good also to know their Sanskrit meaning the words also. Internal energy is what? Antaranga Shakti.
Can I tell you?
Marginal energy is what? Tatasa Shakti.
Yeah.
And external energy is called Bahiranga Shakti. So Papa explain this to make us to understand our position, that Krishna has three energies. And because of these three energies, the living entities are being influenced in different ways. Okay? Those who are under the internal energy of Krishna, they are called Mahatmas because they are influenced by the Viprakritim, by the internal energies of the Lord. And those who are influenced by the external energy of the Lord, they are called Duratma or cripple-minded because they are influenced by the external energies of the Lord. And Prabhupada explained all further by making us to understand that there are three kleshas. What is the kleshas? What is the meaning of klesha?
Adibautic, adidaibik.
What is the meaning of klesha?
Threefold misery.
Yeah, miseries. Klesha means miseries.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada made us understand that there are three kinds of miseries. So now you can name them.
Adiatmic, adibautic, and adidaibik.
So what is that? Explain that. What is adiatmic? What is adibautic?
The misery of our own mind. Like pride, anger, ego, misery of our own mind.
No, you have to mention the name and explain them one by one, Prabhu.
Okay, adhyatmika klesha is a misery of our own mind, like anger, pride, envy, ego, all this negativity. Adibautic is a misery caused by other living entities such as animals, insect, your co-workers have insulted you, the mosquito have beaten you, something like that. Yeah, and the third one is adiabatic, and adiabatic. Adiabatic. Yeah, adiabatic is a misery caused by demigods. Like, it's too hot, it's too cold, there is a typhoon.
Like typhoon, hurricane, volcanic eruption.
Yeah. Yes.
So yes, thank you very much. So Papa went further to, started explaining about that and how the living entity, if you go through the purport, so Papa was explaining all this to introduce us to the point we want to discuss about the verse. Okay, so he went on explaining all these things, very important. So that is why I want us to go through the purport actually. So any points that come across your mind when we're reading that purport? Now, I want to hear from the devotees.
Hare Krishna.
1 minute, Babu, just 1 minute. So before that, Prabhupada mentioned towards the end where we stop. Let me just quickly go through that before I forget. Prabhupada said, it says, okay, it's in the beginning. 1 minute, sorry, 1 minute. Am I sharing the screen? No. Okay, you can look at in your book if I'm not sharing the screen. So Prabhupada mentioned in the beginning, he says, since all conditioned living beings are under the control of the Lord's third energy, this material world is designed so that one is obliged to work. So before Prabhupada started explaining this obstacle on the part of devotional service, is making us to understand that although these obstacles are there, but one, especially the atiara, over-endeavoring, overeating, one cannot do without it. As prayasa also, one cannot do without them. The atiara and prayasa, we cannot do without them because we cannot do without working in this material. That's what Papa mentioned in that purport. And then, if we go to Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, text 5 to 6, somebody want to read, open and read. I'm using my phone. If I'm using my computer, it will be easier for me. Somebody can open Bhagavad Gita 3, chapter 3.
What is it?
3.
Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, text 5.
5.
Yeah, you can read.
All men are forced to act helplessly according to the impulses born of the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment.
6.
One who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. So what these two verses are saying is that we cannot do without working. We cannot do without working or endeavoring. Because one who prematurely do that is called a pretender. Like the verse 8 says, you cannot do without working. We have to maintain our body. As long as we are in this material body, this body have to be maintained. But the point is that one has to do this in Krishna consciousness. That is the point. That one cannot refrain from sense enjoyment, but one has to enjoy in Krishna consciousness. Because as soon as you give up sense enjoyment, then we are out of this body. When the sense enjoyment stops, means you are no more in the body is finished. So it means that we cannot do without gratifying the senses to some extent. But one has to do that in Krishna consciousness, just like we eat very nice prasadam. Because it's offered to Krishna, so we eat it to control our senses. So one cannot do without sense enjoyment. We want to see nice form.
We see the beautiful form of Krishna, you know, we see the bodies of the Lord, and like that. So these things has to be done in Krishna consciousness. That is the point Prabhupada is making there. Chitachana Prabhu, you can go ahead with your point, okay?
Yeah, you're saying that Adhyatmic Klesha, actually, Prabhu Ryan, he only said that it's sufferings of the mind, but it's also sufferings of the body. So I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, body and mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other points? So it is Srila Bhaktivinoda who mentioned in his Bhakti Loka that if such activities are done in the mode of enjoyment, then one's qualification as a human being, sorry, if those things are done, all these things mentioned, if they are done for sense enjoyment, then our qualification for having human body is lost. So because, therefore, if one can transform all these bodily activity favorable to devotional service of the Lord, then that is called Bhakti Yoga. That is called Bhakti Yoga. So all these our bodily activities have to be done for devotional service. And that is why, and if we open to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, 16 to 17, someone can fast finger to open can read, where Krishna is giving the principle of meditation to the Gyanis. He mentioned there how one should regulate these activities. Okay, somebody want to read? You have seen it.
There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi, or Arjuna, if one eats too much, or eats too little, sleeps too much, or does not sleep enough. The 6:16. 117?
17. Yes, 17 also.
He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pain by practicing the yoga system.
So it is mentioned that this activity actually, even though it's mentioned for Gyanis, but the purport is very important for the devotees. That we cannot give up all these activities mentioned, but one has to do it in a regulated way. That one should not eat too much, one should not eat too little, one should not sleep too much, one should not sleep too little. Everything has to be balanced. It has to be done in Krishna consciousness. And that is why Srila Rupa Goswami very nicely mentioned in Upadeshamrita. Anasaktasyan Vishayan. Yataha Upayu Jataha. Krishna Nirbandhas Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Sauchate. Nirbandhas Krishna Sambandhe, everything has to be done in connection with Krishna. Everything has to be done. That is proper Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya Uchate. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. Okay, that is the being situated on a proper possessiveness. Okay. Then the second one is Papachi Kantaya Buddhya Harizam Buddhi Vastuna Mumukshu Paritago Vairagya Babu Katyate. So, but one who rejects everything without knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is not complete in his renunciation. So, Vaigu Vairagya means, Prabhupada explained in one of his lectures, that Vaigu Vairagya means there's a river in India called Bargu, River Bargu. So this river on the surface looks dry. But when you put your hand there, then there's water under. So that is why it's called Bargu Vairagya. Bargu Vairagya means pretension, you know. Externally, you look renounced, but internally, it's full of so many desires. So that is not what the Acharya recommends for us. They recommend that we should practice Yukta Vairagya properly, following the injunctions of Srila Rupa Goswami, who has given us this book. We should try to connect everything in Krishna consciousness. So let's continue from the the purport, where Papa started talking about the tiara and all the rest, then we can talk more about those points. Just trying to introduce us to the proper purport. Any comments, contributions so far? Okay, we can continue. Yes.
So I remember one of my Siksha Guru, Mother Raja Lila Devidasi, she always told me that having a material body, we should always, like as what you said, we should not sleep too much, sleep less, because sometimes, like for example, when I was in the temple before, I sleep so less, and she mentioned that it will really affect your, how do you call it, your mood sometimes. So it's kind of like we should not be spiritual bypass. Yeah, something like that.
Spiritual bypass. That's a very nice one.
Spiritual bypass, she mentioned.
we should act according to our level of realization. Many a time we try to imitate. We are still going to talk about that point later.
Yes.
Many a time we try to imitate. Actually, we are supposed to be following. Okay, we should follow the instruction of our guru. We should not imitate devotees. Okay, so let's continue. Thank you very much for that contribution.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, now we have to continue for some time, but we can write it down so that we can finish this purport today. Okay, let's continue here. Somebody can read. Are you there?
Yeah, I can read if you want.
Yeah, please read. Go ahead and read, Prabhu.
Okay. Collecting and eating more than necessary also causes prayas, or unnecessary endeavor. By God's arrangement, anyone in any part of the world can live very peacefully if you have some land and a milk cow. There is no need for man to milk cow, is it right? Yeah. There is no need for man to move from one place to another to earn a livelihood. For one can produce food grains locally and get milk from cows. That can solve all economic problems. Fortunately, man has been given higher intelligence for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, or the understanding of God. The understanding of God, one's relationship with Him, and the ultimate goal of life, love of God. Unfortunately, so-called civilized civilization utilizes his intelligence to get more than necessary and simply eat to satisfy the tongue. By God's arrangement, there is sufficient scope for the production of milk and grains for human beings all over the world. But instead of using their higher intelligence to cultivate God consciousness, so-called intelligent men misuse their intelligence to produce many unnecessary and unwanted things. Thus, factories, slaughterhouses, brothels, and liquor shops are opened. If people are advised not to collect too many goods, eat too much, or work unnecessarily to possess artificial amenities, they think they are being advised to return to a primitive way of life. Generally, people do not like to accept plain living and high thinking. That is their unfortunate position. Continue?
Yes, please. We stop at to life.
Sorry. Human life is meant for God realization, and the human being is given higher intelligence for this purpose. Those who believe that this higher intelligence is meant to attain a higher state should follow the instructions of the Vedic literatures. By taking such instructions from higher authorities, one can actually become situated in perfect knowledge and give real meaning to life. In Srimad Bhagavatam, or Canto 1, Chapter 2, Verse 9, Srila Sutta Goswami describes the proper human dharma in this way. Dharmasya hapavargasya narto artayo pakalpate nartasya dharma ikantasya kama labhaya ismritaha. All occupational engagements, dharma, are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, One who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service, dharma, should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. The first step in human civilization consists of occupational engagements performed according to the scriptural injunctions. The higher intelligence of a human being should be trained to understand basic dharma. In human society, there are various religious conceptions characterized as Hindu, Christian, Hebrew, go to there. Hebrew, Mohammedan, Buddhist, and so forth. For without religion, human society is no better than animal society. As stated above, dharmasya pavargasya narta artaya upakalpate. Religion is meant for attaining emancipation, not for getting bread. Sometimes human society manufactures a system of so-called religion aimed at material advancement, but that is far from the purpose of true dharma. Religion entails understanding the laws of God because the proper execution of these laws ultimately leads one out of material entanglement. That is the true purpose of religion. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material prosperity because of atyahara, or an excessive desire for such prosperity. True religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. Even though we require economic development, true religion allows it only for supplying the bare necessities of material existence. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. The real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. If our endeavor, prayas, is not to inquire about the absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane behavior.
Thank you very much, Babu. Thank you.
I'll stop there.
Yeah, so we see in the explanation, Prabhupada joined Atyara and Prayasas together because the two of them, they are very similar. And that is why even when Srila Bhakti Thakur was commenting on this nectar of instruction, he didn't comment on the first verse, which is Vacho Begam Manasa Kuda Begam. He didn't comment. He started his commentary from this second verse, because this second verse actually is connected to the first verse. Okay, and it is mentioned Atyara and Prayasa, they are very, very close. So like Prabhupada is explaining, plain living, simple living is enough. So any devotee who really want to make spiritual advancement, we organize his or her life in such a way that you can live a very simple life. That is the point. Simple living, and devote more of your time for God realization or God's self-realization. And also, Srila Bhakti Thakur mentioned that there are two kinds of prayasa. There is karma prayasa and a jnana prayasa. And a jnana prayasa is actually condemned seriously. And the karma prayasa, because it's of two different nature. For the two different practicing devotees, we have a renunciant and the grihasthas. For the grihasthas, Srila Bhakti Thakur explained very nicely, because Srila Bhakti Thakur actually was a grihastha and a pure devotee of the Lord at the same time. So he explained very nicely that a family man should only engage in activity that will be enough to take care of take care of his family, and save little to take care of his family in the future. You know, for a renunciant, brahmachari and sannyasi, there should not be saving at all. No saving. A grihastha is allowed to save for Krishna consciousness. Very, very important. But too much saving becomes atyara. Okay, too much saving means too much. Then it will not allow you to depend on the Lord. Too much. It should not be too much. It should be balanced. Okay, so he mentioned that very nicely. So because if not, it would be very difficult for a Grihastha. Like there's a very nice example in the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are two kind of devotees. There are two kind of Grihasthas also. We should take note of this. Like I mentioned before, there are pure devotee Grihastha. There are six of Grihastha who have not come to the level of purity yet, but they are coming up. Okay, so one is Srivas Thakur. So Srivas Thakur, one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Srivas Thakur. He said, Srivas Thakur, you are a Grihastha. Go and walk. And Srivas Thakur said, my Lord, I will not walk. Just imagine he's challenging the Lord. My Lord, I will not walk. And he said, how are you going to maintain your family? He said, my Lord, if I wait for 3 days, you don't provide for my family, and I clap 3 times, I don't get my maintenance, I will tie stone on my neck, and I will go and drown myself in Ganga. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy. He said, Shrivas, you have such faith in me? Oh, even if a day comes and the goddess of Lakshmi, is begging, Shrivas, there will never be a lack in your house. I will personally provide. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy that Srivas Thakur has such faith in him, in the word of Krishna. Anaya Chintayanto Ma Yajana Payu Pashate. The Sam Nitya Biyuktama Yoga Sema Bahania. Krishna mentioned Bhagavad Gita. If you worship me with exclusive devotion, I will provide what you lack and I will preserve what you have. So Srivas Thakur has such faith in that, the words of Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy with Srivas Thakur. That is one class of a pure Grihastha. It depends completely on the Lord. Such Grihastha is not a Grihastha that in the future you start complaining about the organization. Oh, the organization neglected me, they didn't take care of me. We're not talking about such people. Be careful. We're talking about pure devotees who completely depend on Krishna. They will never complain, whatever happens in their life. So we have to be very careful. Sometimes you see people in the name of making sure they think they tell people, they show people that they are depending on Krishna. And whenever they get opportunities, they start criticizing your society, they start criticizing the movement. Oh, it's going to use me and dump me. Who told you? It means that you don't know what you're doing in this con. How can you say it's going to use you and dump you? You're supposed to be serving Krishna. You're supposed to have faith in Krishna. Nobody can use you and dump you if you really know what you're doing. And there's another Grihastha, Vasudev. Vasudev is a devotee of the Lord also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed this different example. So when the devotee came to Jagannath-puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally told Shivananda saying, he said, Shivananda saying, Vasudev is a pure devotee, but he has a family to take care of. So whatever he collects every day, he spends all. But I want you to help him to save his money. Because he's a Grihastha, he has to save money for the future, for his family. So please help him to manage his finances, please. Like that. So the Lord is showing off different examples of different devotees of category. So when we are trying to follow these rules of Atyara and Prayasa, we have to understand this example giving. So we have to use our intelligence. We have to act according to our level of realization. That is my point. Okay? Any comments or contribution or question? Then we can go to the next point, which is let's go there. Let me share the screen. Properly starts the next one. The time is actually very short. Very, very short. I don't know how we can extend the time. We can have Brahma's time in 1 hour. I wish we can have that, we can just elongate that time in 1 hour. We can have so much time we want, like Krishna did during the Rasa dance. Okay, let's. Okay, let's continue from Panyapa.
Someone else read I already read.
Yeah, someone have to read. Actually, there's
Alright.
one verse I wanted to share. There's one nice verse I wanted to share before we continue, please. If you have, because I'm using my phone, I'm trying to get a very good camera for my computer. Once I do that, I'll be using my computer. Then it's easier for me to jump here and there. If somebody have Bhagavatam online, just open to Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 14, text 8.
Bhagavatam. Canto 10.
Canto 10.
Chapter 14, text 8.
10. 14. Wait.
Text 8.
What happened?
Have you seen it?
Wait.
Okay, let me read it. I have it here. Tateno kampa susami shamano. Bujane vatma kritan vipakam. Rigvak vapubi bidadas namate. Givete yo bukti pade samat dayabak. It's a very nice verse. Every devotee should memorize this verse or we should learn it. It's a very nice verse. Okay? You should write it somewhere. 10, 14, 8. We should
10,
always meditate on this verse. It's very, very important. Okay,
8.
once you understand this verse, you understand devotional service. If you understand this verse, you understand life. If you understand this verse, there's nothing that can discourage you on the part of devotional service if you understand this verse. 10, 14, 8. Okay? So the translation is, my dear Lord, one who constantly waits for the costless mercy to be bestowed upon him, and who goes on suffering the reaction of his past misdeed, offering you respectful obeisance from the call of his heart, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So what this verse is telling us is Lord Brahma's prayer. Lord Brahma is praying that we all have different karmas. So according to our karma, we are going to hang, we are going to be suffering, we are going to be enjoying. But one who have full faith in Krishna should know that whatever we are experiencing is due to our karma, and that should not deter us from completely surrendering to Krishna. And he says that if we are in this kind of consciousness, then we are already liberated. It's just a matter of time we live in the body. It's a very nice verse. So a devotee should understand that we cannot get more or less whatever we are destined to get in life. So knowing this, we should do basic work according to our nature, to maintain our family. And whatever miseries and pain that is coming along that, we should always pray to the Lord in our heart, knowing that all these things is due to our past misdeeds. And the Lord should keep us, to become steady in our devotional service, so that all those things will not take us away from his devotional service. Okay? Have we taken note of that? Have we taken note of that verse?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, yes.
10, 14, 8.
Yes. So now let's go for Prajapa. Prabhupada is going to talk about Prajapa now. Let's listen to Prajapa. You can read. Somebody can read.
All right. I read. Another impediment is prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking, sounding just like a croaking toads. If we must talk, we should talk about Krishna consciousness movement. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading tips of newspapers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles, and doing many other nonsensical things. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western countries, old men retired from active life play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about useless socio-political schemes. All these and other frivolous activities are included in the Prajalpa category. Intelligent persons interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities.
Thank you. Thank you. So that is Prajapa. Prabhupada already explained everything in that short statement. We should avoid Prajapa. Okay? But Srila Bhakti Thakur explains that for a Grihastha devotee, the Prajapa cannot completely be avoided because some of them have to engage in some duties, in their duties. So as long as that duty is connected to Krishna, that Prajapa will be purified. Okay? Prajapa means talking. Okay, you can mean Japanam also. Japanam means talking with others. But when we engage in godless talk with others that has no connection with Krishna, it brings sinful reactions. But there are sometimes we engage in activities or businesses that we need to talk to convince others, or we have to talk about other things. As long as that devotee is connected to Krishna, that kind of Prajapa can be purified. And Srila Bhakti Thakur also, he gives a different type of Prajapa. We have useless talk, we have arguments, gossip, debates, fighting in others, speaking falsehood. Some devotees are very good in speaking falsehood, They tell lies. They tell lies. But Ashaya is laughing. Do you remember somebody in your mind? And then we have blaspheming devotees, and we have worldly talks, like talking about politics. You see some devotee, immediately they start talking about politics, like Putin and America. Oh, their hair starts standing on their head. They can, they develop ecstatic symptoms. Actually, those things does not they don't help us in our spiritual advancement like that. So we have to be very careful for Prajapa. So, like I said before, Bhakti Thakur said, two practicing devotees, the outsider can't completely give up about talking about others, but the renunciant should avoid it. The Sannyasi or Brahmachari should completely avoid Prajalpa. Okay, he said so. So because and also he said that, also gave another example, that sometimes when the guru is trying to give instruction, he may talk about others to give example to the disciple. That is not Prajalpa also. So we have to be very careful. Not that when your guru is trying to to instruct you or to give you some guidelines, and is using an example of similar material, somebody or something like that, you say, oh, my Guru Maharaj is talking Prajalpa. Then that is offensive. Because sometimes if they don't use examples, we cannot understand their instruction. So sometimes they tend to use example to give us, just like, for example, in Srimad Bhagavatam, if you read the story of Puranjana, is not Krishna conscious. But Narada Muni also used that example to instruct somebody who is too attached to Kamakanda. If you read the story of Puranjana in Bhagavatam, it's not Krishna conscious. Purely, Puranjana was just absorbed in the sense enjoyment. But Narada Muni need to use that to instruct him. So explain the story of Puranjana, how he's like this, he's doing, enjoying this, and then just to bring him to some point of understanding. So Srila Bhakti Thakur also mentioned like that sometimes talking about others may be needed by renunciant to give instruction to his followers. Okay, so we took note of that. So Prajapa is very, very important. And Niyamagra, let's listen to Prabhupada what he said about Niyamagra. So you can continue reading. If someone can read again, open to Niyamagra and start reading while I'm scrolling to it.
Jana Sangha.
Oh, sorry, Jana Sangha. Continue.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Jana Sangha refers to associating with person not interested in Krishna consciousness. One should strictly avoid such association. Srila Narottama Dasa Thakur has therefore advised us to live only in the association of Krishna consciousness devotee. Bhakta Sani Basa, one should always engage in the service of the Lord in the association of the Lord's devotees. Association with those engaged in similar line of business is very conducive to advancement in the business. Consequently, materialistic persons form various associations and clubs to enhance their endeavor. For example, in the business world, we find that institutions as the stock business world, stock exchange, and chamber of commerce. Similarly, we have established the International Society of Krishna Consciousness to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. This spiritual association offered by our ISKCON movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are joining this society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness. Continue, Prabhuji.
Yeah, continue. We'll come back to that.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anurberti commentary that too much endeavor to acquire knowledge on the part of mental, speculator, or dry philosophers falls within the category of atyahara, collecting more than needed. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the endeavor of philosophical speculators to write the volume.
Just 1 minute. See what Prabhupada is. Prabhupada now is using the commentary of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Anusmriti, based on this verse, and he's explaining the same thing, just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur also mentioned in his Bhakti Aloka about the Jnana Prayasa and Karma Prayasa on the level of, because Prayasa and Atyara, they are very, very close actually. Okay, continue.
All right. Okay. The endeavor philosophical speculators to write volumes of books or dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness, entirely futile. The work of karmis who writes volumes of books and economic development also falls within the category of atyahara. Similarly, those who have no desire for Krishna consciousness and who are simply interested in possessing more and more material things, either the on the shape of scientific knowledge of monetary gain, are all included under the control of atyahara. Karmis labor to accumulate more and more money for future generations only because they do not know their future position. Interested only in getting more and more money for their sons and grandsons. Such foolish persons do not even know what their position is going to be in the next life. There are many incidents illustrate this point. Once a great karmi accumulated a vast fortune for his sons and grandsons, but later, according to his karma, he took his birth in cobbler's house.
Located near the building.
Yeah, which this previous life he had contracted for his children. It so happened that when this very cobbler came to his former house, his former son and grandson beat him with shoe unless the karmis in Janice become interested in Krishna consciousness. They will simply continue to waste their life in fruitless activities. Accepting some of scriptural rules, regulations for immediate benefit as Ultiranya advocate called Niyama Agrapa. neglecting the rules and regulations of the Shastras, which are meant for spiritual development. It's called Niyama Agraha. The word Agraha means eagerness to achieve. Agraha means failure to act. By addition to either of these two words, the word Niyama, rules and regulations. The word Niyama
Who can tell me the difference between the two agrahas?
The one with the short, long A is to accept the rules, right?
Yeah.
And the short A is to neglect.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, continue.
Okay. Yeah. Those Niyamagraha has twofold meaning that understood according to the particular combination of words. Those interested in Krishna consciousness should not be eager to accept rules and regulations for economic advancement. Yet they should be very faithfully accepting scriptures, rules, and regulations for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. They should strictly follow the regulated principle by avoiding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. Yeah. One should also avoid association with Mayavadis.
So now Prabhupada, quickly, when Prabhupada was after talking about Jana Sangha, Prabhupada switched to speak more on Atiaras.
Yeah.
Okay? Then now Prabhupada, after that, he started talking about Niyamahagra. You know, that we should, let me quickly speak about this before we go over it, okay? Niyamahagra, Prabhupada talk about Niyamahagra, accepting, eagerness to accept. We accept rules and regulations not for making spiritual advancement, or we neglect whimsically. You know, sometimes people don't know why they are doing what they are doing. You know, they just superficially accept principle, but they don't take it because they want to make advancement. For example, why should we follow the four regulated principle? Okay, why should we follow the four regulated principle? Why should we chant our 16 rounds every day? Okay, so if we don't know the reason, the purpose why we should do these things, we will neglect them, or we follow them not for the purpose of making spiritual advancement. I don't know, maybe you get my point. Let me give one example. There was one time, I always use this example because they always come to my mind. There was one devotee, so he was speaking with other same caliber of devotee with him who are not, they don't take this serious in spiritual life. It's like, why did they ask us to come and observe Ekadasi? You know, why are we observing Ekadasi? We are not eating this, we are not eating that, we are not doing this, we are not doing that. Still, they are telling us that on the particular day we should not eat rice. No, you know, I don't want to follow these rules, you know, I'm going to eat rice. Because he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Why you should follow? Why you should follow observe Ekadasi? Even Chaitanya Prabhu begged his mother, "Mother, please, don't eat grains on Ekadasi day." Because Ekadasi is considered to be the mother of devotion. So when we observe Ekadasi very strictly, then we can purify all our sins, then gradually we can develop devotional attitude towards the Lord. So it's very, very important. Observing fasting on the appearance day of the Lord and devotees, these are good rules and regulations that will help us to elevate our consciousness. Okay? So if you don't know why we should do all these things, we may neglect them. Or we accept some other rules and regulations, but we accept them, we are not thinking of how to make spiritual advancement. This is what the Niyamagra means. Any comments or contribution regarding this? Sorry, Matagi, Alkal, you can go and do your house duty. Please, we are still going to go for 15 minutes, please. Okay, but we can excuse you.
It's okay, Prabhu. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
My husband is outside right now. That's no problem.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's go for 15 minutes more, please. Yeah, Chaitanya Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So these 4 rules and regulations, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, they have a particular quality ascribed to them. So for no meat eating, it's the quality of mercifulness. We are developing the quality of mercifulness, and by no intoxication, we are developing the quality of austerity. By following the practice of no intoxication, then sorry, did I get it right? No intoxication is austerity. No intoxication, sorry, is cleanliness. Sorry. Then there's gambling, which is truthfulness. Did I do all 4? Is that all 4 now?
You said what?
Is that all 4? All 4 now?
No illicit sex. You have not mentioned no illicit sex.
Oh yeah, no illicit sex is for cleanliness.
Yeah, and intoxication is austerity. You missed them. But it's okay. We got the point.
Yeah, so these 4 qualities, they are qualities in the mode of goodness. So by practicing them, then we develop qualities in the mode of goodness.
Yeah, it brings us to the mode of goodness. Because we need to be in the mode of, just like you said, we need to be in the mode of goodness for us to be able to understand and be able to practice devotional service. It's very, very important to know why we should come to mode of goodness. Unless we elevate ourselves to the mode of goodness, we cannot appreciate devotional service. We cannot appreciate devotional service. It's very, very important. So all these things, principle that Prabhupada has given us is to bring us to the mode of goodness. Those things itself, they are not devotional service. No meat eating is not devotional service. No illicit is not devotional service. No gambling. All these things, they are not in devotional service. But it's to bring us to the mode of goodness where we can begin to render devotional service to Krishna. Because we need mode of goodness. Okay? So let's continue. The Prabhupada mentioned about Jana Sangha, avoiding worldly association. Now, Srila Bhakti explained, mentioned about 7 types of Jana Sangha. I will just quickly read them. Number 1 is Mayavadis and atheistic people. We should avoid them. Okay? The Mayavadis, we know when Chaitanya Prabhu was on the planet, it was so much strong on Mayavadis, avoiding Mayavadis. It was because in India, there's so many Mayavadis. Here in the material, in the Western world, we don't really understand what is Mayavadis. Okay? We don't understand so much. So we are not so much influenced by them. But we begin to understand about the atheistic philosophy, the atheistic people. They are so much in our society now. And they're very proud and bold about their philosophy now. So you have to be very careful. We have to avoid them. Mayavadis and atheists. Then the second one is sense enjoyers. Those who like to enjoy, we have to avoid them. And sense enjoyer, you have to avoid them by all means. Not only sense enjoyer. Number 4 is those fond of sense enjoyer. There are some people, they are not sense enjoyer themselves, but they love to be in the association of sense enjoyer. You have to avoid them. Bhakti said we have to avoid them because they will influence you. Okay. Then the other one is for a man, he has to avoid woman association. And for a woman, he has to avoid man association, especially when you are practicing devotional service. Okay? So this is very important. These are the associations we have to avoid. Then the other one is a womanizer. Number 5 is womanizer. Those who love women, oh, they are called womanizers. You have to be very, very careful around them because they see nothing but, they're always thinking of women, okay? And the 6th is hypocritically devout. Those who are hypocrite, you have to be very careful, avoid them, hypocritically devout. And the other one is ill-behaved, foolish people who are of a low-class nature, ill-behaved, who don't behave properly. So Srila Bhakti Thakur said we have to avoid these 7 categories of worldly people. Okay? So any other comments? We have 10 minutes more. Let's try to finish the remaining of the purports. Then I can give some assignments. Because today is Friday, tomorrow and Sunday, there is no class, then we can get assignment to read, you know, very important. So where are we? Please continue from where we are stopped.
One should also avoid associate with the Mayavadis who simply blaspheme Vaishnavas devotees. Bhakti kamists who are interested in material happiness. Mukti kamis who desires liberation by merging into the existence of the formless absolute Brahman, and Siddhi kamis who desires the perfections of mystic yoga practice are classified as atheists. To associate with such persons is not all desirable. Desires to expand.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing I'm just talking. Well, now, Prabhupada is, we can see for Prabhupada, Bhakti kamis, sense enjoyers, okay? And then Mukti kamis, those who want to, the Mayavadis, they are called Mukti kamis. And then we have the Siddhi kamis, all these people, you know. Okay, continue, please.
Desire to expand the mind by perfecting mystic yoga, merging into the existence of the Brahman, or at attaining whimsical material prosperity are all included within the category of greed, lolia. All
Lawyer.
attempts to
So let us take note of lawyer here. Now, Prabhupada is talking about lawyer. Okay? He said, desire to expand the mind by perfecting mystic yoga or to merge into the existence of Brahma or to attain whimsical material prosperity are all included within the categories of greed. See, like I was hearing this afternoon, one devotee I was discussing with one devotee, and he was telling me about greed. He said greed is one emotion that you cannot hide. Let me give an example. In a devotee community, you can easily know a greedy devotee. When you keep prasadam want to serve prasadam, a greedy devotee, once he comes to the prasadam table, he doesn't care about others. If there are, let's say for example, they make a very nice preparation, samosa, and there are only 5 samosa on the plate. A greedy devotee, he doesn't care about whether other people will get. He will carry those 5 samosa, he will carry it for himself. He will not put only one in the plate so that you can see one in the plate. The remaining 4, he will go and hide it. You cannot hide greed. You cannot hide it. It will be obvious, you know. But it is reality. And that is why you see sometimes also, I remember when we were doing a parikrama in Mayapur, there was instruction that those devotees who are serving prasadam, they should serve before they serve others. You know why? Let me tell you why. Because when they are serving prasadam, if they are not eating, they will be thinking what to keep for themselves. Okay? But if they have already taken prasadam, then they can be more nice. You see, if they are not taking prasadam, they will not be nice to you when they are serving you. It's like, why do you want more? Take little, you know? They will not behave nicely, you know? But if they already serve them, if they have eaten, they will be very nice to you. Papu, do you want more? Papu, so in that way, it will help their consciousness, actually. So greed is one emotion that you cannot hide. So Prabhupada is telling us here that we should be very careful of trying to be greedy about material, you know, things like that. Any comments regarding that?
Comment daw.
Any comments regarding that?
Gusto ko malaman itong yung mystic yoga. Perfect.
Krishna Prabhu, I remember I don't know if it's good to share this, but yeah, I remember when we were in the temple before.
As long as they are not mentioning the name of a devotee, you can share.
Yeah, actually, we're in the temple before, and then we're like, oh, why the sweets are all finished? You know, no sweets.
I didn't hear you.
Yes, there was one devotee hiding all of it, and you know, we found out that these sweets was actually like rotten. I think he just really like maybe he have trauma, you know, something that he wanted to eat the sweets. So
Yeah, sometimes it happens like that, Devotees, out of greed, we keep prasadam, So we should try to avoid these things. They are very subtle things that affect our devotional service. Okay? So let's continue from modern warfare. Please read so that we can manage our time.
Modern warfare waged between capitalists and communists is due to their avoiding the advice of Srila Rupa Goswami regarding Atyahara. Modern capitalists accumulate more wealth than necessary, and the communists, envious of their prosperity, want to nationalize all wealth and property. Unfortunately, the communists do not know how to solve the problem of wealth and its distribution. Consequently, when the wealth of the capitalists fall into the hands of the communists, no solution results. Opposed to these two philosophies, the Krishna conscious ideology states that all wealth belongs to Krishna. Thus, unless all wealth comes under the administration of Krishna, there can be no solution to the economic problems of mankind. Nothing can be solved by placing wealth in the hands of the communists or the capitalists. If a $100 bill is lying on the street, someone may pick it up and put it in his pocket. Such a man is not honest. Another man may see the money and decide to let it remain there, thinking that he should not touch another's property. Although this second man does not steal the money for his own purposes, he is unaware of its proper usage. The third man who sees the $100 bill may pick it up, find the man who lost it, and deliver it to him. This man does not steal the money to spend for himself, nor does he neglect it and let it lie in the street. By taking it and delivering it to the man who has lost it, this man is both honest and wise. Simply transferring wealth from capitalists to communists and cannot solve the problem of modern politics, for it has been demonstrated that when a communist gets money, he uses it for his own sense gratification. The wealth of the world actually belongs to Krishna, and every living entity, man and animal, has the birthright to use God's property for his maintenance. When one takes more than his maintenance requires, be he a capitalist or communist, he is a thief, and as such he is liable to be punished by the laws of nature. The wealth of the world should be used for the welfare of all living entities, for that is the plan of Mother Nature. Everyone has a right to live by utilizing the wealth of the Lord. When people learn the art of scientifically utilizing the Lord's property, they will no longer encroach upon one another's rights. Then an ideal society can be formed. Continue reading.
Yeah, we have to finish. Remember, we have one more minute. Please go ahead.
The basic principle for such a spiritual society is stated in the first mantra of Sri Upanishad. Ishavashamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagatyena chaktena brunchita matpida kashitvidana. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things knowing well to whom they belong. Krishna conscious devotees know very well that this material world is designed by the complete arrangement of the Lord to fulfill all the necessities of life for all living beings, without their having to encroach upon the life or rights of others, of one another. This complete arrangement affords the proper quota of wealth for everyone according to his real needs, and thus everyone may live peacefully accordingly to the principle of plain living and high thinking. Unfortunately, materialists who have neither faith in the plan of God nor any aspiration for higher spiritual development misuse their God-given intelligence only to augment their material possessions. They devise many systems, such as capitalism and materialistic communism, to advance their material position. They're not interested in the laws of God or in a higher goal. Always anxious to fulfill their unlimited desires for sense gratification, they are conspicuous by their ability to exploit their fellow living beings. When human society gives up these elementary faults enumerated by Srila Rupa Goswami, Atyahara, etc., all enmity will cease between men and animals, capitalists and communists, and so forth. In addition, all problems of economic or political maladjustments and instability will be solved. This pure consciousness is awakened by the proper spiritual education and practice offered scientifically by the Krishna consciousness movement. this Krishna consciousness movement offers a spiritual community that can bring about a peaceful condition in the world. Every intelligent man should purify his consciousness and rid himself of the above-mentioned 6 hindrances to devotional service by taking wholehearted shelter of this Krishna consciousness movement.
So Prabhupada establishes the mood and mission of ISKCON here. And you see Prabhupada there talking about the world politics. How if the capitalists and communists follow this instruction of, so by trying to avoid a tiara and prayasa, every living entity will live in harmony. Actually, this process of a tiara and prayasa is what actually destroying our planet. And that is why you see in the professional world now, they start talking about sustainability. It's a big topic now in the professional world, especially in management sciences or social science department. They talk about sustainability because they have seen that the way we are living in this world now, the way we are living, the world itself cannot sustain us again. So unless we go back to the natural way of living or how to live more harmoniously with nature, we cannot be sustained on earth. We are going to destroy ourselves. Okay, so and this thing Prabhupada have said it many years before now. Now the scientists and the social scientists, the technological scientists, all the scientists, they are beginning to realize it now, and they are now pushing more. If you go to United Nations, they talk more about sustainability. They have the developmental sustainability goals and all these things. It's because they have seen by the way we are living in the form of our tiaras, we cannot sustain ourselves again. So this principle of Srila Rupa Goswami is very, very important, not only for people's spiritual life, but even for our material life. We want to be peaceful and happy. Talk less of a devotee who want to be Krishna conscious. We have to take this principle very seriously, very seriously. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is telling us. We have to understand it. Once we understand this principle of Niribanda Krishna Sambandhe, Yukta Varagya Uchate, how to connect everything to Krishna and use, everything in the service of Krishna, then we can properly be situated on what we call repossessiveness, and we become happy. So we'll stop here, but before going, I would like to give assignment on the next verse. The next verse we are going to be reading is, let me go to it and give assignment quickly. Sorry, 1 minute. I'll just go to the next verse. Then we are going to read. Then I will stop. 1 minute. Okay, so this next verse is talking about enthusiasm. So enthusiasm, endeavoring with confidence, patience, acting according to regulated principle, and abandoning the association of non-devotees and following the footsteps of acharyas. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that the assignment is going to be like this. Now I'm not going to give one assignment. So you take this. No. I want you to summarize Srila Prabhupada's purport. You summarize it, not more than 3 minutes. What you understand in the purport of this principle of Usaya Nisaya, in your own words, how you are going to practicalize them in your life. Now is personal application we are talking about. How we are going to practicalize these 6 principles, these things that are favorable for devotional service. Are you writing down the assignment, please? Are we taking notes? Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Summarize in 3 minutes. Actually, it is mentioned, whatever you can say in 3 minutes, you can say it in 3 hours. Okay, it's a principle of a presentation. If you can be able to concise your presentation in 3 minutes, then you can speak for 3 hours. If you can say it nicely in 3 minutes, you can speak for 3 hours. So what I'm saying is that you are going to summarize this principle in 3 minutes this how we are going. Most important thing is that you summarize in 3 minutes how you are going to practically apply it in your life, not others. You're not going to talk about other people. Oh, this devotee should do like this. It should be enthusiastic. No, how I'm going to be enthusiastic in my devotional service, endeavoring with confidence, being patient. You say it you are going to present it in 3 minutes. So that's how we're going to do. So unless you read it again and again, you cannot summarize it. If you are thinking, if you are lazy, you just read one. Let me just say something. Then on Monday, I will know, because you just be reading from the book. Then you will be speaking here and there. I will know that you didn't study it. But if you study it more than 2 times, then you can get the grip of the whole purpose. Then you can put it in your own words. That is the secret. That's why I'm saying you should do it. When you read it more than 2 times, you read it 1 time, you will not get the connection. When you read it the 2nd time, you will get the connection. Then the 3rd time, you'll be able to summarize it in your own words. That is the point. Okay, that is the assignment. Okay? Are we good? Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Prabhu, that will be for the text number 2, right?
Yeah, test number 3.
For text for
Three.
number 3.
Yes.
Okay. Got
And
it.
so on Monday, that is the first thing we are going to do before we start. You are going to be the one speaking to us. And everyone, every each of us here, we are going to speak. There's no excuse. Okay?
Okay.
And Mother Shaya, from today on, you start taking what do we call it? Attendance.
Okay.
Mother, if I say I should tell you to be taking attendance, okay?
Okay. Noted,
So you take
Prabhuji.
attendance because devotee have to continue. So Mother said you should take that service. You take attendance of those devotees so I can hear the name and everything, and we should keep on taking attendance like that. Because we are going to, like we say, we are going to give a certificate at the end of the day, okay? Although we have done Ishri Upanishads of devotees who were not there. So we are still going to we are going to do some exam on Shri Upanishad. So please, at your own free time, go through the Shri Upanishad, because I'm trying to figure out my computer. Everything is in my computer. Once I'm able to figure it out, then I can bring those information out. Then I will share with the devotees, okay? And that is it. So please, Monday, get your present. Read about this 3rd verse and summarize the whole purport in where we can practically apply it in our life. If you don't read it, if you lazily read it, just read it so that you can say something I will know. If you study it nicely and be able to grab the essence there, I will know. It's like that. Okay, so that is the assignment. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So we end it here.
So much. Vanchakalpa.
Bye-bye.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Kripa Sindhu Priya Evacha,
Jai
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo,
Pavanebhyo,
Vaishnavebhyo.